Welcome to Breakfast Central here on News Central on a Monday morning. We are indeed back and ready to go for another full week. I'm Johansson.
And Monday feels like a morning for fresh opportunities, a new week, and some of the biggest stories that have happened over the course of the weekend, as well as the ones that are just starting this weekend. We're here to break everything down, as well as give you the opportunity to be a part of the conversation when we open the phone lines. I am Olive MOD.
Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Central. The grass is green on our side. We've decided to wet the grass here and make it green. That's why you can see Joe and I. I'm sure lots of you at home are greening with envy, like Olive is.
Just like Olive.
No. I'm the lady on the show.
Who's
So
a little pink, you know?
I can't green with envy because people are wearing olive green. So.
Oh, I get your point. But it's good to be back.
But you do plan it.
No, great minds just think alike. You know.
So what are you saying about my mind?
I just woke up and I said, I gotta look green.
Your mind
like
is pinkish and with the brain.
Do you know what's interesting? I actually ironed a green outfit.
But
I
did
wore it.
Green last
I wore it, exactly. I did green, but because I have one day missing for my green because I couldn't come to work for the emergency. I wanted to compensate. I wore it. It wasn't given, so I pulled it and wore this instead.
But it's good to be back. I mean, first day of the week, and so many things happened over the weekend. The weekend went by
too
in a
fast.
flash. I think the government should increase weekend to 3 days.
Oh, all of a sudden you think that I've been an advocate of it. I think that a 4-week work cycle would be the best for Nigerians, because if you know you're working Monday through Thursday, and then the weekend starts on Friday, so you're not going to work on Friday, so you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're able to get the quality, you're able to get, better output. Joe, why are you doing me, you move? But it's true now.
Even if they extend it, I mean, it's been proposed in the UK.
There are some countries that already have
looking
implemented a 4-week work schedule.
Olive, we'll still go and that day that we're supposed to rest, we'll say, it's Friday, let's do something. We'll add.
I will not
to
do.
the calendar.
I don't think this is going to work anyway. So we're just dreaming. Let's get back to reality.
Never say never. The Gen Zs, for example, and the Gen Alphas, in our older ages, you'll be surprised at the kind of things.
Very true.
Will our parents have ever imagined that a time will come when people will work from home? Innovation just allows people to start to think of.
Would Mary Slessor have thought that there was a time that they would not kill twins?
No, before Mary Slessor, would people have thought that there's a time they would? So anything can happen. I'm rooting on the Gen Zs and the Gen Alphas to ensure that we reduce our work days from 5 days a week to 4 days a week, so we can have 3 days for the weekend. But Gbenga, it's good to have you back in the studio. Last week you were out on the streets. Reporting from outside.
Yeah, I mean,
I had to leave AC journalism, like both of you, and do the real work that journalists are paid to do. I was on the field, and you guys were, so proud, asking me questions. I wanted to reply you like those social media. Go and ask your grandfather. But it was a good one. It's good to be out there, exercise, see people, interact with people, not just phone calls, not just sitting in the studio.
And it's an important story you went there to cover.
Very important. And I mean, serious health and safety. And the irony is there was a mudslide in that same estate, which is that the irony is telling the story of what will happen if they continue that construction in the gorge, because it will move the soil. And it was just a very narrow escape. There was a big boulder on the headrest of the lady. She had a gush on her head. A car was completely gone, decimated.
I saw that car.
It was terrible. And I mean, questions. You don't wait until disaster happens before you start doing things. You're not reactive. That could have been prevented. They were saying this building should not, the building owners were complaining about construction in a designated no construction zone. They went ahead to do it. Look at what happened. It was just a miracle that there wasn't any loss of life. And they're about to do the same thing in a gorge.
Sometimes you wonder how people reason and think, and the difference is they're even educated.
And now the authorities would even grant license for such.
In your interview, I did recall that while you were speaking to the chairman of the association, he said that someone has, in one way or the other, not told the governor the truth one way or the other, because it's like trying to tell the governor they've convinced him that don't worry, they can build something there, whereas they can't. I think sometimes, as when you're in power, you would have a lot of proposals come in front of you. It's good to do due diligence.
Going to be a bane. I mean, it's already a bane in our development as a society, because you tend to cut corners for people you know. And I mean, if there are rules, then please follow the rules. And we'll get to people breaking rules.
I agree.
I think today's wake up is about rules and regulations.
I think both of you should take the first story, looking as seeing as both of you are wearing NYSC color.
Shade.
That means
if Johansson had the type of temperament I had before, we'd just be looking at ourselves until just 3 hours will pass until we take that story. You don't know me.
Breaker, you don't know somebody that actually had that kind of temperament. When we go on break, I remind you who the person was.
Kind of like reminds me of that old home video. I'm an evil genius.
Thank God I don't work with evil geniuses. I work with great people. All right, NYSC core members, please go ahead.
No. I mean, go ahead. Let's leave the floor.
It's a female story. It's better if you...
Okay, let's watch it now.
We'll be here to just...
Anyway, we'll do the honors if you don't want us to. If you don't want to talk about it. Well, there's an update on the NYSC, in quotes, lady who had spoken out about the hardship in Nigeria. Recently, she put out a video on X and on socials where she put out, that's it, that's the video you can see on the screen. She mentioned what she's been going through, how she's been able to cope with it, coping mechanism, and the course of this entire situation is hinged on the fact that she didn't get her NYSC certificate. And how did she react? But then again, let's just watch the video. We'll come back and talk about the story in a bit.
I feel like it's so much anger, but I just cannot release it. I'm trying to buckle everything up. And honestly, when I look back and I'm like, how much do I need this certificate? This is something that I genuinely need. And to be very honest, if not for my family, I wouldn't even give a damn about it. But yeah, bye guys. I did not get my NYSC certificate today after 1 year of serving this country. I literally went there with my cohort people, or should I say people we served together, and when it was my turn, they said no certificate for you. I had to go home, and since then I locked myself at home and I was looking like a mess. I didn't talk to anyone, but today I decided to get up and go to the gym. It's been a long time I went to the gym, and I just feel like I need to let some steam off my body so I no longer feel angry towards myself. Yes, I genuinely feel angry towards myself, and I feel like I was played big time. You know when people think like, oh, because they're older than you, they are smarter and they can put you in a corner, and that's the kind of emotions that's running through my vein. I feel like it's so much anger, but I just cannot release it. I'm trying to buckle everything up. And honestly, when I look back and I'm like, how much do I need this certificate? This is something that I genuinely need. And to be very honest, if not for my family, I wouldn't even give a damn about it. But yeah, bye guys.
All right, there she is. So the story started from the fact that she said she was supposed to go get her NYSC certificate. She and her friends, and she has proof in that video. But while they gave to others, it got to a turn. They told her there's no NYSC certificate for her, and she had to leave. But how did she cope with it? That's a good way she handled it, by going to the gym, taking her minds off, and so on. But that does not negate the fact that there's a history around this story, and the history all started from when this same young lady had criticized the current administration, saying that things are very tough, and to even survive as an NYSC core member, talk less of being an NYSC core member, not a Nigerian, is very hard. And then she got the bashing, especially from NYSC itself, where they said she should retract her statement, that she's not supposed to make such statement. And then she also received a phone call in which it was recorded, where she was threatened, as it were, that she should not do that any longer. Rather, she should retract that statement. But then again, this...
I mean, just to add to that, they've also responded as to why, even though she's made this claim as to the fact that NYSC has deprived her of getting her call-up certificate with her mates, or getting her NYSC certificate with her mates, NYSC has now responded. So NYSC has given a reason. They say this is a clarification of non-issuance of national service to core member Uche Rita Ugwamaye, state code number, then her state is there. Let's move on. They said it's a misleading information. And then they said, contrary to false claims that she was denied a certificate of national service due to critical remarks about the government, this assertion is entirely unfounded and false in its entirety. Rita is among the 131 core members whose certificates of national service, CNS, were withheld for valid disciplinary reasons. Specifically, Rita's service year has been extended by 2 months for failing to attend the April 2025 biometrics clearance, a decision that aligns with the NYSC bylaws. It's important to note that this extension is a standard procedure and not unique to our case, and the principle of equal treatment was only applied in this case. NYSC management thus urges the public to approach this matter with understanding, as extending service for non-compliance is a long-standing tradition within the NYSC. Now, she's also put up, if you check her caption on Instagram, she put up a caption with that video. And in the caption, she gave an explanation in the final paragraph. She said, after I was contemplating if I should share this or not, but decided to. After 1 year of moving to another man's land to serve my country, ended with no certificate and telling me to come for final verdict that we already know how it will end. I genuinely wish I wasn't a Lagos State copper because it's a waste of my time. I cannot say moving here was bad, but serving here isn't all pleasure. Just to add to it, they said the reason I'm not getting my certificate is because I didn't clear myself for the month of April on my scheduled date. But what they aren't saying is how I was present to get cleared. Yet, the LGL kept asking me to go to the back, and when she finally wanted to attend to me, she said she won't clear me. She seized my file and told me to get out. This is a long story, and I don't mind waking up midnight to tell the story. The deep-rooted anger I feel and hatred is crazy because I don't know who to direct it to, but I wish myself the best, and I'm closing this chapter. She'd also gone on a rant. I believe we may have some photos of her going on a rant on Instagram and sharing some of these posts on her Instagram story. She says, very soon, I don't know if our producers have it. If you have it, please put it up. But I'm just going to read some of the posts she put up on her story. She says, very soon they will start paying their banger boys 10K. Okay, let's start with this. She said, I stand by what I said. Ask the Abela lady to come out and admit to it, if I was present or not, if she refused to clear me or not, if she seized my file or not. If they like, they should pay you guys 100K, like I said. This happened about 4 months ago, and I've been buckling up my anger, waiting for the day they'll have the audacity to start paying people to go against my truth. I won't be facing those people again and don't need the certificate, so I'm ready to go dirt for dirt. She went on further to, she said, very soon they will start paying their banger boys 10K to come for my personal life. I can already see the comments, but this time around, I actually don't care. There's nothing to protect anymore. Nonsense. And then this final one says, they are now paying people to say it's 2 months I missed. Me, when no, they even miss 1 day monthly clearance because my mama no go agree. Ooh, so we've had both sides of the divide,
Look,
right?
I think I saw some other, I don't know if there were messages sent to her into a DM or something that was put earlier on, but I don't know why we're doing this as a country. This is sad. And the NYSC coming out to put his own story and say we shouldn't politicize it. NYSC, for goodness sakes.
Have they even done their own
for goodness sakes. To avoid the bashing and the shame, let's just pass the information to the NYSC. Please, just send the girl certificates to her. It's obvious that you have her address. Package it and send it to her.
Yes.
And let's stop this childish thing that the whole NYSC is engaged in.
Did what they had to do, bringing out a statement so as to avoid conjectures and all of that, but they didn't do a thorough job. That statement wasn't holistic because they had not investigated the woman that was meant to clear her and made life miserable for her, sent her to the back during the month of April, and that was the reason why she missed the clearance. So she was victimized.
Benga, even for the fact that you know that this individual has been in the public eye, exactly, that should be the more reason why you should even ensure that, okay, you know what, we do what
and then ordinary Nigerians, okay, you're not politically affiliated.
Come on.
What is your business? Why are you insulting someone for telling her own story?
Well, they say that she's a staff of the government, and
no,
within the government
that agency as an individual
and cannot insult the government. I think it would be very disingenuous for the NYSC to claim that this was done because she didn't do her clearance without having carried out an investigation. At the very least, a thorough investigation should have been carried out, especially because this young woman was in the eye of the NYSC storm some months back when she called out the president, and that became an issue for national discourse. Recall that they had also asked, NYSC had asked her to come. They summoned her for a hearing. And when she showed up with lawyers as well as people like Omoyele Sowore, they were nowhere to be found. So it would seem that there's been an agenda against this young woman who, for the longest time, has spoken up like she should as a Nigerian. It's well within her right to make any complaint. There were issues about how the matter was handled, and many claimed that she was defaming the government. But like I would always say, the defense to defamation is truth. Can you say that anything that she said in her videos is a lie? And if you can't, then I don't know if
Nigerians,
we have an issue here to
also mention that sometimes some of us as Nigerians were the biggest hypocrites. the biggest, and we dare say it here, we are the biggest hypocrites. The reason is because this young lady came out and said things are tough. And Nigerians, just like you and I, all of us, we understand that things are very tough. Take, for instance, she did mention about the transport fare. Has transport fare come down? You that you're watching this program this morning, you are going to work, if care is not taken, you're taking your children to school, you have to pay, it's very high fare just to go from one place to the other. The young lady talked about it. Food, she talked about food, the high cost of feeding, of taking care of yourself. She mentioned it. Is she lying? No. But then again, someone comes out or a group of people come out and say, no, you cannot say that. You are talking against the powers that be. But that's a lie. That's not true.
Right.
That is not true.
I think the very least we can do here is to ensure that there's a thorough investigation into this matter as to why her service here, she's been denied right to claim that she has gone through NYSC. I mean, we could all see her go through NYSC. But let's get some of the reactions from X. Inibehe has tweeted about this. Recall that he was at the forefront of the conversation at the time when Rita Oshe was accused of, insulting the government. He says, the statement issued by the management of the National Youth Service Corps on its decision to extend the service period and withhold the certificate of National Service Corps member Ushe Rita Ugwamaye alias Rai does not represent the truth of the matter. I have her instructions as a counsel to respond appropriately to the statement. History will vindicate the justice.
Please go ahead, Inibehe, and do what you have to do. This is pathetic.
Awele Showere says we reject official NYSC's spurious position in its entirety.
His hand is good though. He's typing.
Very well. I'm so happy to see
manage
that.
the hand.
Youth Corps member Ushe Rita Ugwamaye Rice case could not and should not be dismissed as a mere biometric clearance issue. This was not about paperwork. This was punishment in retaliation for our public criticism of official BAT's disastrous economic policies. Silencing dissent is not service to the nation, it's a service to tyranny. We stand with Rai, will continue to fight against official NYSC until the injustice is corrected. Serap has also twisted about this.
This is pathetic.
Let's take Serap.
Anyway, Serap says, we urge President Tinubu to direct the Director General of the National Youth Service Corps to immediately release Ms. Ushe Rita Ugwamaye's discharge certificate, withholding Ms. Ugwamaye's discharge certificate solely for the peaceful exercise of her right to freedom of expression is a blatant violation of Section 39 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended, and Article 9 of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, to which Nigeria is a state party. No one should ever be punished solely for peaceful exercising their human rights. Withholding a certificate is without any lawful justification and contrary to the provisions of Section 11 of the NYSC Act, which provides that the Directorate shall, on completion of the service of a member of the Service Corps, unless such person is exempted from, that's under Section 17. Okay, it goes on and on and on. But then again, we do understand what he's saying. And this one said, instead of resorting to repressive measures, the NYSC must respect the human rights of all Corps members, including their right to freedom of expression, and actively ensure that peaceful expression continues without any restriction. President Tinubu should demonstrate his oft-expressed commitment to uphold the human rights of everyone in the country, and his promise to that effect that no one should bear the brunt of injustice for merely writing a bad report about me or calling me names.
You would think
democracy requires a fair degree of tolerance for harsh words and stinging insults. And we hold the NYSC leadership to account if Ms. Ugwamaye's certificate is not immediately released. And that's it goes ahead to copy to tag a few other persons, which is the President, United Nations, and don't forget the United Nations Human Rights. But then again, Benga,
when you hear these kind of things, you think that we're in Uganda.
Look at what Atiku said, the former vice president. He goes ahead to say, what manner of impunity is this? Everything should not be subjected to politics. I hope that Ushe Rita Ugwamaye's NYSC discharge certificate is not being withheld because she had the courage to complain about the economic hardship under the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led administration. It is unacceptable that a young lady who had served the country without queries should not have received the National Youth Service Corps certificate 1 year after passing out. The appropriate authority should take urgent steps to ensure that she gets a discharge certificate, and he puts it there with the signature AA. And
I saw you hear this story, you think that we're in Uganda, in a country that is meant to operate a democratic system where individuals have a right to express themselves. I mean, it's only people like Yoweri Museveni that should complain about you criticizing them and then being able to clamp down.
Exactly.
Or his
you have freedom of expression, you have freedom of expression, but what you don't have is freedom after the expression.
So,
you know what's going on here is the tragedy of this is ordinary Nigerians. I understand politicians will do this. I don't think there was an express instruction from the
presidency
presidency to do this,
service.
but it's eye service from that woman that decided, and she had some cohorts within the NYSC that were going to punish this woman. And then again, ordinary Nigerians, just because, you know, the president happens to be from your tribe or you support a party, does not mean that when they criticize him, they don't mean well for the country. They want things to improve, and everybody has the right to express themselves how they deem fit. Then you see what goes on these days, and it's a very dangerous trend.
That's exactly
people
what I'm saying.
defend all sorts of rubbish, and then they go ahead to attack her. I saw people questioning morals, that how can she afford to be eating in expensive... What does that have to do with anything?
Again,
I mean, it's absolutely disgraceful behavior. News Central hosted a town hall on Thursday. The criticism. I mean, people were telling their truths, their experience with INEC, the system. And the reasons why we did that is that all interested parties, stakeholders will learn and improve deepen our democracy, improve the electoral system. You know what people were saying in the comments? Why didn't you go and start in Abia State? Why didn't you start? Is that the issue? Or we should address the anomalies in our society.
Again,
it's really, really terrible.
We're still not
They're not saying
these
things they happen or is bad or we should improve on it. They said go and start it.
We need to move to our next story, but just to say that this has is setting an unfortunate trend, an unfortunate precedent, or a dangerous precedent if this isn't checked. Because what we'll then see is people will come out to call out people students will come out to call out the electorers and all, and they would not be allowed to graduate. And that would be such a very nasty place for us to get to as a nation. We hope that this is investigated thoroughly, but we'll continue to follow up, and hopefully we'll have Rita O'Shea join us. We've reached out to her, and hopefully we can have her join us. So this is just to extend an invite to Miss Rita O'Shea to come share her side of the story. But now let's move on to something that took the news by storm. Last week, social media was... I wouldn't say...
agog.
That was the word that came to mind. But I would say that it was divided along reaction lines. But majority of the reactions being strong criticisms against Kwam for the actions against the cabin crew. Now, we could see the videos. You remember the videos of him allegedly trying to stop the plane, standing in the side of the plane and the pilot moving. And by the directions of the NCAA, we saw that he was suspended he was given a 6-month no-fly suspension, as well as the pilots who were temporarily suspended. There were calls for further stronger sanctions to be implemented against Kwam, stating, of course, and making reference to the laws of the nation that require that he be, in this way, I would say maybe punished. But let's take a look at this video, and then he has apologized, so we'll come back to take that.
Good afternoon, gentlemen and ladies of the press, here present. My name is Olasukomi Inde Marshall, also known as K1 the Ultimate. I am here to make clarification of the incident that happened on the 5th of August 2025 at Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport local wing, while about to board aircraft from Abuja to Lagos. The incident is highly regrettable because I have contributed the better part of my life in the past 50 years to the growth and development of Nigeria, my country, art and culture, both in and out of the country. I've been a good ambassador of this great nation, in and out, in very many ways. Somebody like me should not be found in such incidents. I accept responsibility and appealing to Mr. President, the country, the Honorable Minister for Aviation, the FAAN, the NCAA, and my fans across the globe to please pardon.
Well, that's the apology video by Kwam saying he's sorry. Apology accepted or not. Now, on social media, majority of the reactions we're seeing are people saying apology accepted, but there's a punishment for crime. If you've committed an offense, there should be a punishment. We've seen people who are calling for him to still face punishment. And reference was in this case made to Section 459A. So I'm going to quote section... Okay, you know what? While I'm looking for it, please go ahead.
I mean, it's one thing to apologize. It's one thing for the apology to be timely, and it's one thing for the apology to come alone. because he signed off on that statement that insulted
the media
our sensibilities from his media person,
which was also used by his
everything.
Exactly,
denying everything that happened.
Okay,
you know,
so I've seen it here.
You can bamboozle your way through or insulting the intelligence of Nigerians.
Section 459, please let me just quickly read it so that we can come back to that. Section 459A of the Criminal Code Act here that they're making reference to, which says that any person who by any unlawful act obstructs, causes an alteration to be made in the course of, or in any way whatsoever hinders or impedes the movement of any aircraft which is in motion or in flight over any aerodrome is guilty of a misdemeanor and is liable to imprisonment for 2 years. So maybe the question will now be the interpretation of this. Can we say categorically that that airplane was already in movement, especially because it hadn't taken off?
Of course.
You know, so, I mean, I think that's...
Of course, they had removed...
and there's video evidence to it.
And
the minister
cleared it for takeoff.
of Aviation also posted that video. So he's contravened that law.
Well,
and it's one thing to apologize, but I don't think if he apologizes and they let him go, then he sets a very dangerous precedent. Because if you go to Ikoyi prisons now and you ask all the prisoners,
all of them are sorry. They all repentant.
They are sorry.
A number of them.
Let them out.
Let's move now. Speaking about setting dangerous precedents, over the course of the weekend, another video emerged, and this time it's a young lady that many people on social media have started to call Kwam 2. She, of course, had an altercation with Ibom Air staff, with the flight attendants and the security. And you could see her exerting a measure of physical assault, I would call that.
Slapping the air hostess.
We can't say what exactly led to that, but what we can say is she was caught on camera hitting the air hostess, hitting the security operatives. Let's take a look at that.
What did you do? What did you do to me? Did you mean? I came and it was your counter. She's hitting me. She is hitting me. She's hitting me. She was giving her slap left and right. Who was slapping who? She was slapping on the head one. She strangled her like for 5 minutes. They just got her down now. She was beating her, she was just like trying to calm down. She was like serious slap, but she was giving to her. For having in mind, and everyone said having in mind to do this for me. I want to know how much you want to this today.
Here you can see the video of the young woman exerting a measure of pressure that is obviously physical assault to security operatives and staff of Ibom Air. Ibom Air is there to put out an official statement regarding this. We don't even know her name, so for now, just like social media, she's being referred to as Kwam 2. But it's not even funny. You could see in the video, at some part in the video, where she said, I can't believe an air hostess would do that to me. I don't know what exactly was done, and it would be great to hear what was done. However, whatever was done does not in any way justify this action that we're seeing on camera. The fact that she knew she was being filmed, and she still went ahead to react in the way that she reacted, hitting them. You know, there was a time she actually picked up her little yellow purse there and attempted to fling it at the man who she's having a conversation. Yes, that's it. Oh, yes. Yes.
This Kwam 2 is more violent, too.
But, I mean, she picks her battles. At least she's battling against human being and not machine. Kwam 1, the aeroplane stopper, tried to stop a whole aeroplane. So it's nice that...
So this is not man versus machine.
This is man versus man. It's man versus man. You know.
So I think there are a number of things that we need to highlight here.
Yes, things to highlight.
Yes.
Man versus machine, man no man. Because we're going to see the reactions in comparison to what happened with K1, the ultimate.
Let's see the reactions quickly because we're out of time. let's just go straight to the reactions. But this is pretty sad. In as much as we're trying to make light of these things, let's be honest that we're starting to live in a very lawless society. And what you see here is a clear reaction or a clear mirror of what the people are also learning from those at the top.
People are frustrated.
People are frustrated. People are copying what those are doing at the top. Just yesterday, I saw a police vehicle taking one way and coming to hit me. One way.
You should have stopped
and then
that.
They came out of the car and they said, Waka, get out of there.
Wow.
And I said, oh, wow. So you see, so when people start seeing these things, they want to copy and do the same thing.
It shows it's a free-for-all.
So anyway, but before we come back to take this reaction, I want us to highlight something here. Okay, let's take this one. Say, because you, Kwamwon, have apologized to Nigerians and as a great personality, you have indeed done well, my superstar musician. But on the contrary, we need others who have messed up in other ways to learn from Kwamwon, the ultimate. Great men should learn how to apologize when they misbehave because they are humans too. These men should apologize to their offenders. One, Bola Tinubu must apologize to Nigerians for failing to provide basic amenities he promised to Nigerians during his campaign. See the 2 years of massive hunger and starvation. Your clueless government needs to say sorry to Nigerians for all these banditry, lootings, insurgency, killings across Nigeria today. You are president today because you said you will clean up Nigeria and not add more pain to the people. Another one. Peter Obi must apologize to the Labour Party for trying to hijack the party for his 2027 presidential bid. How can he be working in a coalition and bargaining with other political parties and still standing as a member of the Labour Party? We must stay at one point in politics to run for office. You can't be saying A and be doing B. Politics is about the people and not just about one person. Wahala. Inside the sword fight, this one brought go.
Yes, okay,
but I want to highlight something that we can see from, and this is not just the beginning. In the most recent times, both the public personnel and the regular everyday people, in fact, with Ibom Air, this is not the first altercation they've had. Earlier this year, on the 8th of January, a certain Chiamaka Donubani also prevented, the plane from shutting the doors. They charged her to court. I don't know what came out of that matter. I'm not sure. She was granted bail and she was brought before court. At least she got to court. Then if you go back again, if you're looking at the influential people this year, in the past few weeks, the conversation about Adams Oshiomhole versus Airpeace was another one. Adams Oshiomhole had his own side of the story, Airpeace had their own side of the story, and then after that we've seen Kwam 1, now we've seen Kwam 2.
Kwam 2.
The truth is,
who is Kwam 3?
First of all, if we don't start getting to a point where there are strong punitive actions for offenders, people who assault, people who try to cut corners when it comes to aviation and flight issues, we will continue to see a repeat of this. If people don't realize that if you act like this and you treat you treat maybe a cabin crew member in a certain way, that you will be made to face certain repercussions, we'll continue to see repetition of this. And secondly, I think people need to understand that air hostesses and pilots, they're not at your beck and call. They're doing their jobs. Their jobs deserve respect. Their jobs deserve...
Even downfall drivers and
everybody
conductors
deserves to be respected. So I think there's this mentality of, oh, I paid for my flights, therefore you should be licking the ground that I walk on. Imagine her saying something in the line of, I think a common air hostess, just an air hostess would do this to me.
Maybe she's related to power. Let me use that word.
Okay.
Or she used to walk in the corridors of power.
That today is today, I'm going to this. But we want to follow up.
But there's a certain type of behavior you expect from people that, I mean, you have to be of a certain social status to be able to fly and use the airport frequently.
Not anymore.
So what's going on with the aviation industry these days?
I think also
you hear all this sort of reports.
They should start doing mental evaluation for people before they get into the plane.
This type of behavior you expect
mental
from
evaluation, they said they want to start doing for students before they get into school. They'll soon start doing for people before they board plane, because the lives of many people are...
The good news is we have Kwam 2 on camera. We have Kwam 2 on camera. But let's move to another story now. While we finish with Kwam 1 and Kwam 2. We know, Benga, we talked about the president doling out cash.
Yes, that what is good for the goose is good for the gander. What is good for the Falcons is good for the Tigress.
Exactly.
What is good for Kwam 1 is good for Kwam 2.
And what is good for the Falcons, in this case, is good for the retired ex-Falcons.
So they should go and meet the president that was there that time.
A former player, Patience Odelu, has come out to say, President, please look at us too. We also played and won laurels.
Remember this jersey way back?
Oh, this was, for me, this is still the best jersey ever.
This is a throwback.
Still the best. You had Sheyi Olofinjano, you had Tayeto, you had a lot of them
yeah,
who wore this jersey, and it was indeed very good. But then again, watch this video and see what she said. Take a look.
Hello, fellow Nigerians. My name is Patience Odelu, a former striker of the Super Falcons of Nigeria. I represented Nigeria and won 4 WAFON title between 1998 and 2004. I want to specially thank President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu for showing love to Super Falcons players and Big Tigers. May God bless the President for appreciating successful Falcons. On behalf of the ex-Super Falcons, I wish to appeal to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and First Lady to also show love to Falcons players that were African champs 9 times. Most ex-Falcons have nothing to show for winning laurels for Nigerians. Some have died, some jobless, and some homeless. Please, sir, correct mistake of the past by honoring and compensating us. God will surely bless you for including sports in your renewed hope agenda. Thank you so much. God bless you, sir. Now my papa be this, so we don't get another one. Now our papa be this, so now our papa be this, so we don't get another one. Now our papa be this, so President Tinubu. Now our papa you be, oh,
Super striker.
What was that? What are we? Yeah.
You deserve your own money, 100,000.
We have drama ingrained in our blood.
Wow.
Nigerians. What's so dramatic?
I think
because it was that performance.
No, what kind of president is she trying to say? Them Shegun Odegbami of the Green Eagles, they should honor President Tinubu.
What are you telling me?
We need to start from.
They need to go back from
Macaulay's time.
from the grassroots.
Okay. I know it's funny, to be honest, and I get the point of saying that they should go back to President who was on time, back at the time, but we cannot celebrate the future of sports without also looking back at the history of sports. A number of these women played when sports was underfunded in the 90s, in the 2000s, when there wasn't social... Yes, and it's still very much... It was much more underfunded. If it's underfunded today, imagine what it was at that time. That was a time where they didn't have funds, and they didn't even have glory. So let me say that, okay, if I'm not making money, at least I'm getting the glory for it. There wasn't social media, a lot of social media coverage to give them the fame that these current Falcons and sports athletes, are experiencing. So even if it's not monetary, I think it would be important for us to, look back and honor the people who set the groundwork for what we're experiencing.
But how do you honor them?
So there are ways to honor the
teachers, honor the doctors, everybody.
Honor the old-time broadcasters.
Exactly.
So the ways in which we can honor them would be, one, to ensure that we prioritize sports in terms of budget funding and all the likes, and ensure that those who are there now and the ones that are coming don't have to experience what the ones before have suffered. Also, it would be great to have a sports hall of fame that sort of tells the story, something that immortalizes
this thing that
these
you
people.
just said applies to teachers, doctors, soldiers. So let's
Oliver, I'm loving what you're saying.
One after the other. So, to be honest, these things are ways in which, for example, when you go to Rwanda and we talk about the genocide memorial, when people can come and see something.
Documented.
If, for example, I haven't been, I don't know if this exists, so pardon me, in the National Stadium, for example.
There's
nothing. No, the history is gone.
So to have maybe like a place where people can come and see those, a hall of fame, so it sort of immortalizes their name. I'm not saying they should give everybody 150 million.
Patience Okoli, former Patience Odelu,
it's not possible.
Road, like a sports, within the sports complex, you have a Patience Odelu, soccer, whatever, just to honor them.
Two things. It can be like having a wall. If you go to
track,
if you go to the Olusegun Obasanjo library, you would see when they're detailing Nigeria's history, from the military era to the civilian era. You see the car that former President Obasanjo drove. Like, there's certain relics of that time. So let's have relics of sports athletes in times past. We may not be able to give them 150 million. It's most likely not possible, but...
Well, let's take reactions. Let's see what people are saying after she put up that appeal to the presidency, telling them, please, look into it. What is this? Ifeanyi Febi says, if the president gave them just 1 million naira each, you all won't be making this video asking to be compensated. The government of the day, when you won trophies, gave you what they thought you deserved.
Hey,
well,
it's right.
Good point. He's
or
right.
Probably gave them
He's
what
right.
they could afford.
You wear designer from head to toe. You still wear
Gucci,
Gucci,
baby.
Still the poolside for their blood. Who's gonna take you serious that way? You look made already. Mbok, go to Oshodi or Ikorodu and do take two. Well,
Nigerians are very observant.
Yeah,
I can't believe they spotted that Gucci.
That Gucci.
That's what I was planning to buy for.
Please, how did Nigerian politicians convince and confuse over 250 million people to live in bondage? Asking for a friend, Sha. We don't know.
Me, I'm not
we
living
have
in
no
bondage.
we don't have no clue.
Are you living in
Patience,
bondage?
No, I'm not.
She did well in her days, coming to systematically beg because they gave out huge sums for the heroics of the Falcons. Makes no sense. You got yours then. Which kind of eye service be this one? You did Chicago. They there.
And I like that point that if it was 1 million, will you make this video?
Nope.
Yeah.
10 million, will you even make this video? No.
It's a present mistake. You're only asking that he keep making mistake of spending our money the wrong way. Those girls are lucky. The whole idea behind the giveaway is politics. Again, it's very impossible to start saying that we are giving 150 million to every present or old athlete.
Yeah.
What we're saying is find a way to tell their story.
honor them.
And I'm hoping that the Minister of Youth and Sports, these are things to look into. Create a hall of fame that sort of details the journey of the heroes past, so that the labors of our heroes past will
Do
not
you have an
be in
idea of
vain.
what 150 million naira would do to Nigeria's grassroots football?
$100,000.
What it would do to
And
Nigerian
you're just
grassroots
saying
football?
one.
Just one.
In how many
I'm talking
in
about
23
like
places
23.
or more, plus the officials. Like
Plus the officials. What it would do to
That's
Nigerian
almost
grassroots
30,
football?
Why did you not give
It will fix
our
the
sports?
turf.
Oh,
it,
yeah.
will, it will create competition.
Yeah.
They would get their trophies. They will get, even if you split, let's say in Lagos State, let's just take one player, 153 million from one player, and you set up a tourney in Lagos State for the girls, and you say the winner goes home with 2 million naira. Just how many 2 million naira can you make from 153 million? It means that to take them for a calendar year of maybe like 5 years, and they will still be playing, and they will be spotted by international scouts, and then they will do well for
I can't
themselves as
even
well.
beef the girls for the gift that they've gotten. I wish them well.
But then again,
and I celebrate them. But, I mean, this is an ongoing conversation. Let us know your thoughts on YouTube or streaming live News Central TV. Much later, we'll take your reactions to this story. Let's now share with you what our headlines and our top stories this morning are. Top stories. K1 versus ValueJet will be identifying Nigeria's aviation safety gaps this morning. Controversy trails Rivers State local government elections scheduled to hold on the 30th of August. And moving on to that, looking at some politics, Atiku allegedly stalls ADC membership registration amid Jonathan's rumored emergence. APC stakeholders appeal to Tinubu over alleged neglect in Delta State. I thought they aligned with the center. The newspaper front pages will be reviewed this morning on Breakfast Central. Join us for all these and more.